Hey lovelies, Serena here. I would like to share a little bit about KI regular practice and why it is good for you if you can build a regular KI practice, or especially if you just come to KI, why it is good to for you to build a regular practice and just gradually or slowly get used to KI by practicing it, not just from time to time, but a bit like committing to this work to learn the tools and really understand it for yourself, to be able to use it on your own also. So yeah, because yesterday I had a very nice conversation with one of my clients, and I really liked that conversations because her questions were just so straight to the point, and I really enjoyed responding to them because it came from deep, and she just had to hear it, And so she was asking questions about my practice. If I look back to this almost 3 years KR practice and what I reached with that, So she was asking these questions, and one of her questions was about that regular KR practice and why is it good if I look back. What did it change? Why was it important? And so I can talk about only my experience now, although I receive the same feedbacks from my clients who does it regularly, like really like regularly. And of course, we have a slightly different approach on level 2 and level 1. It's not much difference, because if you can build a regular practice now on level 1, then it will greatly help you when you go deeper. If you can just get used to this, doing this somatic processing, KI somatic processing. So, okay, so when I was a child, because I just want to explain on the level of this somatic experience that we have here in the body, So when I was a child, different aspects of myself couldn't be expressed, and because of this it couldn't evolve, couldn't grow and develop, in a way, like different certain aspects of my personality, my behavior, my expression, or even my brain, because this whole thing, the body with the emotions, the mind and the brain and the body, the muscles and everything, the energy, it's like one big massive neurobiology, a system, it's a system here. And its functioning is very simple, but when it's repressed, it can become complicated in a way. It can feel like it's complicated or something when it's blocked. So when I was a child, because we all are unconscious to some degree, because we all are repressing to some degree. It's no one's fault. It's like unconscious. And so because of my parents and the people who I lived with, they repressed certain aspects of themselves within themselves, certain emotions. So, and whenever a parent is repressing a certain emotion and aspect of her personality or his personality, they repress or unconsciously push this aspect of the child. They push it down also in the child. So, and the same happened to me also. The different aspects couldn't express, couldn't grow. My personality couldn't grow. Those aspects couldn't grow, develop, and open, the brain also, the how I perceive the world and stuff like this, and how I receive the world and the experiences through the brain, through the eyes, what kind of emotions I have, if I can feel them, if I can express those emotions. So the entire thing feels as if it's like there are channels, and it feels as if there are blocks in those channels because of the programs that we inherited from our parents. That, for example, it's not good to feel this anger because then I'm bad and I'm going to lose mom, etc. So it got repressed, and all the aspects within myself that belongs to the anger expression, self-expression, they also got repressed. So that channel is already closed. There is a block on that. And it's like with somatic processing, like KI, it's like, because it's a somatic processing, it feels as if these energetic knots or these repressions in the body, you know, they start to open with somatic processing, because the unconscious blocks gets lifted, you know, from in our bodies, in our body mind, and in our energy somehow. It's not like separate, I'm just trying to explain in a strange way maybe, but they start to open, you know. And so those energies, those emotions, those aspects of myself, or those aspects of my personality, my behavior, my expression, my quality, my being, they start to open up, you know, gradually. That's what KI does. That's my experience. And that's what I hear from all of my clients, you know, and I'm very happy about that. So in a way, it's like with KI somatic processing, those aspects that couldn't get developed and grow as a child, now they are opening, they are developing. And yes, Scott sometimes says like reparenting, like it feels as if, yeah, it feels like funny, but it's like this, as if we reparent ourselves from awareness, because we do it from awareness, we do it from presence, and that repressed aspect of ourselves, it's like reparenting this through somatic processing, you know. And yeah, that's how it feels, like reparenting ourselves from awareness through doing somatic processing. And so these aspects open, develop, grow, you know. Now it's like how do you say it in English? They grow up, you know, the child grows up. That's now not how I said in Hungarian. I have better words for that in Hungarian, but something like this, you know, like we grow up, the child grows up. It's not repressed anymore, so it can grow up. Whatever couldn't grow up now can grow up, because we are opening the somatic, you know, somatically processing whatever is repressed, or pushing those aspects down within ourselves. And so if you, especially the third dimension, the repression and trauma aspect of this work, but also, I'm telling you again, if you can just be at a regular practice, if you are on level 1, it will greatly help you. That's the door to the third dimension practice. So, you know, if you do it now, like building a regular practice, after a while, for me in the beginning, somehow I had to schedule it a little bit, you know, because my body mind had to get used to it. And the part of myself didn't want to do it, although I felt the difference and I felt that it worked. And after a while, it just became automatic in my system. Back then, I couldn't believe if someone would tell me, was to tell me that it will become automatic and easy in your system, I would laugh. You know, like, no, it's a great effort to do inquiry. Oh my God, all this shit is coming up. It's a great effort to do this. But still true, because after a while, it just became automatic in my system and easy, you know, to do inquiry. It became a part of my consciousness, you know. It feels like I'm KI, you know, like it's a part of my body, my consciousness, and I see things differently from inquiry perspectives, because I repress less now, you know. So it's just continuous opening. So, but if you do it only from time to time, you do a session, then you leave it for 2 weeks or something, then this process of growing and opening and processing, it stops, because this is not inbuilt capacity of our body mind. It's not. Somatic processing is not our inbuilt capacity. It goes against our natural mechanism that is repression, repressing all this. And after a while, the somatic processing, the opening becomes the automatic and the normal. But until then, I think, that's my experience, that regular practice and some persistent and something like this is needed until it becomes automatic and easier somehow. And especially in the third dimension, I just don't think it's possible to do it. That's why it's important to learn the tools, to be able to facilitate yourself, because in the third dimension, the more often you do it, the better. And you will see it. If you are in the third dimension, then you already know, probably. And if you are on level 1, you will see it, how necessary it is to embody these tools through practice, to be able to facilitate yourself whenever you need it, from awareness to just be able to process somatically. Because it feels like, it reminds me to like my yoga practice, because back then when I started to learn yoga 15 years ago, like 1.5 decades ago, I remember that my body wasn't used to stretching, and for initially it was like weird, even like stretching, and it hurt, like, oh my God, like that hurts, even though I felt good during and after that. There was some space in my shoulder or in my hips or something, there was more space to move, and it was more spacious and light and easier. But I had to do it every day, or I remember like every second day, I had to do effort to do it. Otherwise, if I stopped it for 1 or 2 weeks, and again, I just wanted to be lazy, just watch Netflix, eat popcorn and cheeseburger and Coca-Cola, whatever, to become lazy again, because that's what my body knew, like, oh, just be lazy and relax, So I don't know why I'm sharing this example. So if I left the yoga practice, the stretching, for 1 or 2 weeks, my mind remembered how it is to do it, the ability to stretch deeply and to feel the space and the lightness after that. But my body couldn't produce it, My body couldn't produce it because it contracted back, the muscles contracted back into, again, like this density and toughness and rigidity, And so I had to admit that, oh my God, I have to do it like every day or every other day to keep the body in this open, light, stretched state. And after a while, it just became, until today, I do like 10 minutes yoga and stretching every day, because my body just needs that. It keeps it open, light, healthy, or spacious, something like this. There is some space with that. And yeah, so, and now, even if I stop it for 1 week or something, if I'm sick or something, maximum 2 days and I'm the same, the body is the same. Even if I start after a break, it's like somehow the body can stretch. It remembers, because I was doing regular yoga practice for a while, so something changed, shifted in my body. That's crazy, I know. Or when I went to the gym, when I started to lift weights, I remember I could start with 15 kgs, I was like hiding, oh my God, I can lift up only 15 kgs. And now I had a break. And after a while, after 2 weeks, I could lift up like 45 kgs. And now I went back to the gym. I go there every week, 2-3 times, but I was sick for a couple of weeks, and I had to leave it. And I went back, because when I left, I can easily lift up like 65, maximum 75 kgs, and it feels good. So I can do this. And when I went back, I was thinking like, oh my God, do I have to start from 15 kgs again? And somehow I could lift up easily like 45, 55. And at the end of the session, I could just easily do 65. And I was like, what the fuck, like, wow, something changed in my body. Some power came up that cannot go back anymore, cannot leave anymore. So something changed in the somatic, in the visceral. But of course, I practiced for months in the gym, So yeah, maybe these examples are only to, I just really want you to feel the essence of KI, like it's really somatic. So your body mind have to get used to this type of somatic processing because it's not there yet. It's not there yet. To go into the somatic, lift up the programs that's repressing emotions, it's something that I know it's so fucking crazy and it's, yeah, that it's not natural, but that's not the natural inbuilt mechanism for us to open, to feel, to express. It's not. Our inbuilt mechanism, because of our childhood, is repressing that, not feeling that, and going unconscious. That's sad. That's so fucking sad, but for some reason it is like this. So in the beginning, it's good to have a regular practice for your stuff, not being fixated, not like a hard exercise or something with that, but like keeping an eye on a regular practice. So it will be also easier to go deeper and deeper and into the third dimension as you open those layers of repression. I think that's it. I think it's just an encouragement from my part, because that's why I shared my experience too. Yeah. Initially, in the beginning, I remember that, and I was saying that to that girl yesterday, that I changed a lot. It's been a constant change. Like the way I saw things, my presence, the feeling of being in the body or listening to the piano, everything changed. My reactions changed. The way I saw people changed. The feeling in the body changed. So my personality also changed. My expression of my quality changed. It was more freer, but it felt like something new. And in the beginning, it felt like losing myself. Like, that's new, because I was used to the box that I lived in, the little personal something, the little box. I squeezed myself into a little box unconsciously. We all do this, and so I couldn't see, I couldn't express, but that was the box that I knew. That's safe, And for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, maybe when I started this, it felt like, oh my God, I'm losing myself. But in the same times, the new feeling, not new me, but the me felt like new, and it felt so good. But there was also some fear, like, am I losing myself here? Because that's how I know myself. These reactions, etc., that's me. But after a while, you just calm down, and since then it's just constant opening, being myself more and more, not just the repressed me that wants to stay safe. So yeah, that's it. So I vote for regular practice, and I'm not your teacher or anything, so you do whatever you want, you have to experiment with yourself, just as I experimented with myself. But after working a lot on myself and doing it regularly, repetitively, that's my experience, that I cannot imagine that it can work in any other way, like just like a therapy, like just going for a session every week and then just living unconsciously. Then it doesn't work like this, especially when you will come to third dimension. you have to learn and own those tools and embody those tools. You know, you have to learn the most important aspect of KI, the essence of KI on a practical level is that you embody these tools and you self-facilitate, that you learn to self-facilitate. That's the most important thing. And in the third dimension, it works only in that way. Otherwise, just as I said in the beginning, those aspects are opening, you know, lifting. You are growing into adulthood within your expression from the coming out of the repressed child. And if you just stop it again and again, you just do some repression inquiry, then you just leave it, it can mess things up. I'm talking about the third dimension now. You know, like, that's not healthy, I think. I cannot imagine doing it in that way. I've never done. But yeah, no, I don't think it's healthy. You just open something, then the same like with the yoga practice. If you don't continue stretching, opening the spaces in the body and the muscles, then it just shrinks back, you know? So that's how I see it. Hope it helps. Hope it gives you some inspiration that I shared my experience with it. And yeah, go for it. Go for it.